Yo, what up, though? Radio Raheem in the building. What's good, my boy?
What's going down? You know, it's been a long time coming.
Yes, sir.
We're waiting on this moment, and we here.
Hey, man, I want to say, man, congratulations. Man, I mean, your elevation, bro. I remember the first time I saw you, and I knew we were going to get into a formal introduction.
Sure.
But the first time I saw you, I want to say this is probably 2013. This is when Dallas was having all of like the underground showcases. And you had brought Jay Oliver out.
Yeah.
And bro, you had like, I know it was a designer coat, but it was probably one of the shiniest coats I ever seen on stage. I'm like, yo, this dude, somebody like.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I was introduced to Radio Raheem when you was behind Jay Oliver doing that whole push, man. And just, I felt like you were so elevated then that it was great to not see that there was a glass ceiling, that you just constantly evolve and evolve and evolve.
For sure.
And because of that, man, congratulations making the Texas Gatekeeper list.
Hey,
well deserved.
Appreciate that, man. Now that's love.
Looking at how you came over the years, man, like, are you surprised where you are now?
I definitely always played the shadows, you know, never really wanted to be in front of the scene, never really wanted to be in front of no cameras. But I feel like, you know, now is a better time than never, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because I feel like Dallas needs it. And, you know, I feel like the movement and the message behind it is so big now. It's like, I gotta make it out there. I gotta push it out there. I gotta get in front of every camera and let everybody know what we're doing.
No, for sure. Now, with the movement, man, and again, we'll get into the journey, but a lot of people were saying like the scene of Dallas is dead. What is your take on when you look at Dallas right now? What is your perception of it?
I mean, I always looked at Dallas as like peanut butter with no jam. You know, it was always missing something. You know what I'm saying? We had the jam with no peanut butter. We had the peanut butter and jam with no bread. Like, it was always something missing. And it's like, once we put all these elements together and really bridge the gaps, we're going to have every piece to make a complete sandwich.
No, for sure. Now, when you think of Texas Gatekeeper, because I remember the first time I did the list, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
At the start of the pandemic, April 2020, I decided to create this list.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Texas Gatekeeper? Do gatekeepers actually exist? And are the gatekeepers letting those down who are looking for people to control that gate?
Man, you know what's funny? I used to always call them gate blockers. You know, because I feel like they were blocking a lot of shine and a lot of success for others, all because they wanted to shine for themselves, you know, and they weren't really doing their part to be a gatekeeper, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's been a lot of gate blockers in this industry, and it's just been blocking other people's shine, you know, and the artist is not getting their shine like they supposed to. I feel like Dallas ain't been getting a shine like they supposed to, and I feel like there's just a lot of people that's just in the way, you know? So, you know, it's crazy for me to see me on the list as a gatekeeper, and then I used to call them gate blockers, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, maybe I'm the one that make the change, and instead of blocking someone, I want to just uplift the next person, be a gate opener. You know what I'm saying? Let me open the gates and let the floodgates open, so that way all this talent in Dallas finally really gets the shine that it needs.
So what happens when, now that you're identified as a gatekeeper here and all the artists know Radio Raheem and what he has to offer? Of course, as they already have been doing, they're going to solicit you for whatever services or whatever you have.
Yeah.
But if you don't like the artist or you not gelling with it, you may not work with that artist. That artist now look at you as a gate blocker.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you deal with the perception of not being able to help everyone and being maybe possibly labeled as a gate blocker?
I mean, I feel like there's an avenue for everybody. You know, and if I can introduce you to someone that might help you to get to the next level, then I did my part, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like as a gatekeeper, you got to be a connector, you know what I'm saying? You got to connect the dots for the next person. And if you're like well-known in the city, you should know every spot for a person to be at.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you should perform at this spot. Hey, man, you need to talk to this manager. Hey, man, I'm going to introduce you to this director, this engineer, this producer, so that way you can really perfect your sound. And then that's me doing my part. Now, if it's something that I could do where I could put you under my wing and really guide you to where you need to be, then I don't have no problem doing that either, but you just got to have all the attributes that I'm looking for.
And see, that's the thing with the attributes that you're looking for. Because, artists wear their hearts on their sleeve. They work hard as hell. And for someone to say, hey, you not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing I can do for you. Like, how do you handle that? Because, do gatekeepers, are they responsible for working with every artist that say they are artists?
Nah, of course not. Because, it's crazy. Like, I remember, like, years ago when I was working with J. Oliver, a lot of artists wanted me to sign them, wanted me to work with them, wanted me to do the same thing I was doing for J. Oliver for them. And I would tell them, like, you just don't have what it takes. And then I would actually sit down and like coach them and be like, yo, you missing this. You need to do this. This is what's messed up about what you're doing. This is how you need to build your delivery. And then like years later, like I run into them again and they be like, check me out now. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And then they did everything that I said. And then they tell me how that one conversation changed their whole perspective on what they should be doing, and it just really got them to the next level. So a lot of times, like, constructive criticism can go a long way. It ain't just what you have at that moment, it's just what you need to build up to.
For sure. So right now, I want to take it to the beginning of Radio Raheem in the beginning. So you Japanese, African descent.
Yeah.
Born in Japan, man, like,
Yeah.
do you remember Japan? Because I know what you said, you came to the States like 6 years old.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about Japan, and have you ever been back to Japan since you've been an adult?
Nah, I mean, I remember a lot of Japan. That's where all my Japanese side, and, I just love the culture there. And they're really fond to, like, the hip-hop movement. And, like, what's crazy is, like, being big in America and going to Japan, you're, like, 10 times bigger.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I recommend every artist to go through Japan and tour through Japan. Once you really like reach a good level in America, like check out those other countries because they waiting on you.
For
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like Chingy, which is an artist that used to be big back in the days. I haven't heard no song since Tipsy.
Right.
Like he's huge in Japan right now. And he's still touring in Japan everywhere and they love him.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Casey and JoJo are still touring in Japan and
Absolutely.
They love them. So it's like, it's the same thing here. When I went out there a few years ago, they were playing Duro a lot.
And he did Japanese, a song called Japanese, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did. And like, they love him out there, and I was talking to the promoters out there about bringing them out there, and I worked with some of them. We brought out like Soulja Boy, we brought out Rick Ross to Japan. So, it was dope just connecting with a lot of the movers and shakers in Japan, like how I connect with the people in America, because I feel like that's like another avenue that we need to open up too.
Gotcha. Now, your mother is Japanese and your father was black, correct?
Yeah.
And you didn't grow up, you grew up without your father.
Yeah, so it was crazy because I guess it was like a conflict when I was born, and then like...
Was he an Army dude?
He was an Army dude.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then when I came to America, I was with another person I guess my mom was with, and I grew up with them, and I thought he was my father until I was like 13 years old.
Damn.
And then they kind of like sprung it on me and was like, that's not your real dad. So I'm like, damn, it's fucked up. Like all my life, I was thinking this guy was my real dad.
Yeah.
And then they were like, this other guy's your real dad. And so like, it kind of like, I ain't gonna lie, like it kind of messed me up to the point to where like, I ain't believe in nobody. Like I ain't fuck with nobody after that. Like I was just like, all right, fuck it. Life ain't real no more.
That's crazy.
I'm just going all out now. Next, I'm in the streets doing everything.
Like, going through that, because it might be somebody out there that's going through what you went through.
Yeah.
Like, at what age going through what you went through is a right age to tell somebody that either A, they're adopted, or this person that you've been growing up knowing as your mom or your dad isn't who it really is? Is there a right time to tell a kid?
I mean, I feel like, as they grow up, like they should have an understanding, because kids nowadays, like they understand a lot.
Yep.
Like they could be 6 years old and know that this person ain't their real dad, but they still love them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like my daughter, she has a little brother, and his dad is in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I talk to him all the time about his dad. And, we always kind of like share an understanding, like, hey, just because he's in jail doesn't mean that I can't be there for you. You know what I'm saying? And just like I'm there for my daughter, I'm there for him too. So,
Okay.
Just picking up that role of just being a man in someone's life is important.
For sure. Now, You know when like the Tiger Woods effect, right? You know when people hit a certain height, they no longer just identify as black no more. They become everything but black, man. Like when you do your taxes or fill out, what do you fill out as?
I ain't gonna lie, it'd be other. You know what I'm
Other.
saying? Like I'm always been other because I mean that's how I was always identified. You know, even like growing up in the black community, like I never was accepted as black. They be like, you ain't black, you ain't black, you Wing Chong Pong Wan. You know what I'm
Damn.
saying? They be like, show me one of those Bruce Lee moves, you know, Jackie Chan, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn. Then I go to the Asians. And they be like, oh, you ain't Asian. Like, you know, you ain't one of us. You can't speak our language. You can't talk like us.
Damn.
So I'm like, damn, I don't know who to kick it with.
So you was out here just floating, man. In between,
Like,
how
I
did
was
you
just floating.
deal with that? Because it always seemed like black people tend to be more receptive, but you kind of see that's not always the case.
Man, they really become the bullies. You know, it's like you get picked on a lot, you get talked about a lot. You know, people always try to try you. So I was always fighting in school, always getting into it with people. And it just got to the point to where it's like, you know, you kind of like got to make a choice.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to go the gang route or are you going to go to just keep getting abused route? You know what I'm saying? And then you choose the gang route. And then it's like now you got a whole group of people that's behind you.
So when you came from Japan here, you came straight to Dallas?
I went to Chicago and then I went to Dallas.
Okay. So how old were you when you came here? Like middle school, you said?
It was like in between like middle school and elementary school.
Okay.
So I was like going back and forth a lot.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I went to school in North Dallas and went to high school in Pleasant Grove. I went to Skyline and got arrested at Pinkston. And then I graduated at W.T. White. So, you know, I went through some changes.
Gotcha. Now your dynamic of finding out this one guy who you thought was your father, not your father.
Yeah.
You and your relationship with your mom wasn't really that close though, like that, right? Like.
Nah, I mean, you know, when you deal with like an Asian parent, you know, they don't really tell you they love you. They don't really like, you know, be supportive about what you be doing. You know, they always kind of bring you down. So anybody that deals with like an Asian family community, like they real hard on their kids. You know what I'm saying? And it was more like I had to just fend for myself like all my life and just really had to figure out how to get it on my own.
Yeah.
So we did that a lot.
So, as they say, jumped off the porch, man. What was the defining moment that would attracted you to the streets? Was it the brotherhood, the camaraderie? Was it that you couldn't get the stuff that you wanted? What drew you to the streets?
I mean, it was definitely like the brotherhood, you know, linking up with OGs, you know, people that was just like kind of like father figures for you, you know what I'm saying? And they just kind of put you under their wing and teach you everything that they know and try to keep you on the straight and narrow, but still at the same time, like you kind of like be doing the same thing that they do. You know,
Gotcha.
if they hustling, you hustling. If they getting into stuff, you getting into stuff. So
Right.
it was kind of like they wanted you not to go that direction, but they were like kind of like not really pushing you away from it. But
Right.
it was a weird dynamic, but it definitely led me to where I was, to where I did get locked up at an early age. And I went
How old were you at the time?
I just turned 18 when
Okay.
I got arrested in high school. And that was like a real moment for me because
Gotcha.
it was like, damn, like I don't go to juvenile, I'm going to the big boy jail. And the next, you know, I'm in Lou Sterrick, and I'm like, damn, I'm only in high school. I'm in Lou Sterrick with
Yeah.
these murderers and killers and rapists. But it was crazy because I knew damn near everybody in jail. Like, I saw all my homeboys in there. I saw all the OGs in there. So I'm like, damn, this is where y'all niggas been at? Shit, all right.
Got you. Now, prior to, you know, hitting the streets, man, what was always that passion? What was that calling for you?
Far as prior to that?
Prior to just growing up, like your aspirations, what aspirations? Were you always into music? Was it an athlete? Was it?
I mean, it was always just knowing that I was different.
Gotcha.
You know, like something about me just kept saying, like, you different. Like, wherever you at, like, you know, like when I first came to Texas, I wasn't in the city. I lived in the country. You know, I lived on a farm. And that was like crazy because I'm out there chasing all types of animals. Like, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram.
Nah,
like,
I follow you.
I got a bunch of animals. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm really into like crazy shit, you know?
So you really got elephants?
Nah, no elephants yet. But definitely got some kangaroos, some monkeys, you know, definitely got some tortoises.
Damn.
got some pretty crazy
Now
stuff.
you got the big tortoises, them
Yeah, like the ones the size of a car, like they like this big.
like 1 ton.
But they like $100K each.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just been my thing. I like weird, crazy animals.
In Texas, pretty much they laws allowed to have crazy animals like that.
Yeah, as long as you in like the right city limits, you know what I'm saying, and you buy the permits, you know, it ain't nothing really to get the permits. So
how many kangaroos you got?
I got 2.
2, male and female.
Yep.
Now, out of all your animals, which ones is like the craziest ones? Like, you gotta watch them, temperament-wise.
It's this thing called a caracal.
What the hell is that?
It's kind of like a mountain lion / puma kind of thing, but it's like a big ass cat. And it did slip my lip open, which was pretty bad, you know. And it was just like one swipe, and it would just like cut my lip wide open.
Now, do you still go in there and play with them, or do you kind of like, I got animals, but throw the food through the gate?
I mean, I be working with them, you know. It's kind of like you dealing with someone that's in like that needs help. You know what I'm saying? So you just trying to help them out and be like, yo, hey, calm down. I'm here for you.
Gotcha.
I'm the one that feeds you. We friends. I'll come in peace.
What's your dream animal?
I definitely want a giraffe.
Giraffe. Why
I
giraffe?
always just thought about like when you come to my house and you just walk in the backyard and you see a big ass giraffe back there, like
Coming to America.
Exactly.
For sure. Now, what made you jump off? So let's backtrack a little bit. So okay, you go to Luceric and you in jail, and so now at this time we got a program that says, hey, go to jail or go to the service.
Yeah.
You chose to go to the Navy.
Yeah.
Why not the Air Force? Why not the Army?
Well, I tried to do the Air Force, but then they told me like I had to be on probation till I got there. And then when I get in the Air Force, I had to be on probation in the Air Force. So I'm like, why would I be on probation and then still be on probation once I'm already in? Gotcha. And then it's like, what kind of military probation is there? You know, so the Navy was like, man, don't worry about all that. Just come with us. We're going to get you right. Just come on in. I'm going to make sure you get all your paperwork done. I'm going to talk to the judge. We're going to make sure we get the case dropped for you. So I'm like, shit, I like that idea.
Gotcha. Now you go to the Navy.
Yep.
And you become the cook.
Yeah.
Do you choose your job or do the job choose you?
Well, what's crazy is like you do this ASVAB test and then they see what jobs you qualify for.
Gotcha.
So like I scored pretty good because I was somewhat smart in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I did have all the AP classes and all like the other stuff. And then like when I did the ASVAB, I scored pretty high. But then since I had a criminal record, all the jobs was in red. So I was like, why all these jobs are in red? And it was like, you gotta have a top secret clearance to get these jobs. So you only qualify the ones in the green. So it was like maybe like 4 jobs in green. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna be cleaning no shit. Definitely ain't gonna be painting no boats. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with the one that had the bonus, and it was a cook. And then I was like, that's gonna be the easiest one because how hard is it to cook? But then, come to find out, that was the hardest one because it's like 2 cooks cooking for like 600 people.
Damn.
And you doing this shit every day of your whole life.
Damn.
So it's like literally 18-hour shifts and you just cooking. Then they don't tell you that once you go overseas, you ain't just a cook no more. Now you gotta be a firefighter. Now you gotta be put on other jobs to where like I'm on this weird job where I'm jumping on pirate boats, which I ain't even signed up for. And I'm like, yo. And then they told me I had trash duty where I'm in the trash thing and I'm sorting out all this trash. I'm literally in like a hazmat outfit with a pile of trash this big and I gotta sort through all of it. So I was like, man, I ain't signed up for none of this.
Now, while you was in the Navy, you ended up getting into some trouble in the Navy, right? You kind of...
Yeah. Definitely lived a rough life in the Navy. I went AWOL a couple times.
Damn, like, take me the mindset. Like, you just got fed up with cooking and said, fuck it, I'm out.
Nah, so I almost died. I got blood poisoning, which I don't even know how I really got it. All I know, I was dying. I didn't know I was dying, really. I thought I was, like, just feeling real weak until, like, I fainted. And then next thing I woke up in a helicopter, and they were like, we're rushing you to a hospital. So I was like, yes, I get to get out the military. This is my chance. This is it. And they take me to some like weird hospital in the middle of nowhere in like the desert somewhere. And then next, they tell me like I only got like an hour or two left before I die.
Damn.
So I was like, how is this possible? And they were like, you got bacteria in your bloodstream and it killed all your white blood cells. So after that, I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die doing what I want to do.
Facts.
So I figured out a way to run away from the hospital.
Now, were you overseas when this happened? Because you said in the middle of nowhere desert.
Yes, this was in the Middle East.
Got you. Okay.
In this country called Bahrain.
Bahrain.
And I ran away.
If you could guess how you got blood poisoning, what was your best guess?
Best guess was I was jumping on ships, and ships are really dirty, filled with bacteria, and like my leg got caught in this little wire thing, and it just got infected and never healed. And it just like got into my bloodstream. And when I went to the doctors to ask for help, they only gave me ibuprofen, and they were like, "Get back to work."
Damn.
And I was like, "Nah, I think something's wrong with me. I don't think this ibuprofen is working. I think something's seriously wrong." And they were like, "Nope, you just trying to get off of work. Get your ass back to work."
Okay, so now you sitting in this hospital, you recovering. When did the AWOL thing start getting in your mind? Like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
It got into my mind when they told me I had to be in this hospital for like 2 months, and they told me I couldn't leave, and I'd be hooked up to this machine 3 times a day to get this medicine, and they gave me this nasty food every day, and they told me I couldn't call home because some terrorist stuff might happen, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So it was just real weird.
Gotcha.
And then they were like, there's a possibility you might die. And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna die in the hospital, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna die doing what I wanna do.
Gotcha.
So I came up with a plan to get out the hospital, and I ran away. And I lived with some Saudi Arabians.
The fuck? Okay, so we can't, because this is a fucking movie. This is a fucking movie. You gotta tell me, so you get out the hospital, like, is it a car waiting? You hop in with El Salahim?
Well, they let me stay in a hotel, like, down the street. So they told me, like, I could come back and forth from the hospital and hotel. But when I'm at the hotel, I met these Saudi Arabian dudes. They thought I was a rapper. So they were really big fans of 50 Cent at the time. And they loved G-Unit, and their whole car was, like, decked out in G-Unit stuff. And, like...
Fuck out of here.
And so I told them, I was like, yep, I know G-Unit, I know 50 Cent. They were like, you from Brooklyn? I was like, I'm from Brooklyn. And I just, like, played along with it. And they just loved me from there. And then next, they just told me to come to their house. And I just stayed at their house and never left.
So how long were you there?
I was at their house for like a good week and a half until I got in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when you get reprimanded for AWOL, how does that work? Like what do they do?
I mean, they usually give you like a time limit to get back.
Okay.
So it's like once it passed a month and you're in AWOL for a month, like you're damn near going to go to jail forever. So like I always got back at like right at the right time period. You know what I'm saying? Because it happened twice. First time happened overseas. The second time it happened when I was in Hawaii.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now once you leave the day, go ahead, my bad.
The thing was, I never got a dishonorable discharge.
Okay.
So it was all honorable discharge. So
Okay.
I want to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? Because, they said it was all for medical reasons. Because they said, I probably lost my mind in the hospital. So it kind of like all worked together.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. Now, once you come back to civilian life, immediately do you thrust yourself into music? Like, what are you doing once you get into civilian life?
Definitely went to the streets.
Back to the street.
Back to the streets.
Gotcha.
I had to get my money right.
Okay. So you getting your bread right.
Yeah.
What was the ideal? Because, most people have a dream of how to clean up money. Some people just see themselves as street cats for the rest of their life. That's just what they is. What was your out from the streets?
It was definitely like learning how to do things legit. Like, like marijuana was big.
Yeah.
So it was like, how do I sell marijuana legally? And that's by open up a dispensary. That's by opening up a grow house,
Gotcha.
and and just really like learning that side of the business to where it's like you still the man, but now you're doing it legally.
Okay. So now here it is. So about 2010, you opened up the studio. Is this when did Never Satisfied, the brand itself, come about? How did that come in place?
It came around 2006, 2007.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I started it then. I created the LLC, and I got with my accountant, and my accountant was really like putting me on the business because I didn't know how to do a business. I didn't know how to create one. So he was just showing me like how to get my taxes done, how to like pay for things, how to get my, all my paperwork together. So
Yeah.
he helped me out a lot. And then I started the company and just started building it out from there. And then once I built the warehouse, it was like 2010, and I've had it since then. So it's almost been 12 years in this building.
Gotcha. Now I remember coming over here for the first time. This was when I was talking about doing security for you. Remember that? That's when I was about 445 pounds then.
Yeah.
And I remember coming in here and seeing Sam Harvey for the first time. I think you had just found Sam not too long ago. I think you said you found Sam on like a corner somewhere singing or something. Is that? Or how did you meet Sam? Something
Sam
like that.
used to sing like all over the place on the corner, but also I met him at Guitar Center, and then Jay Oliver met him at this thing called Raw.
Okay.
Where they used to have like Raw, the big shows in Dallas. So Jay Oliver met him there and he brought him here. And then we just all kind of connected and felt like he would be a good artist to sign. So we signed him.
Gotcha. So I interviewed Jay Oliver a while back. Dope interview. What drew you to Jay Oliver, signing him, bringing him on board, Never Satisfied?
You said, what was my vision for it?
What drew you into Jay Oliver? Like, what was it about him?
I mean, he was a phenomenal producer. Like his production skills was out of this world, and his songwriting ability was dope, So I just felt like it was just so much that we could do together if he had the right push, he had the right investment, he had the right machine behind him. Because when I met him, like, he didn't have none of that. Like, he was literally staying at a football player's house, and didn't have enough money to fly back home. So, and I helped him get the money so he could fly back to Baltimore, get his stuff together, and then after that, he flew to Dallas, and from there, we just kept working.
Got you. I think the one thing I think that's dope about you, man, you have a knack of making whoever you work with immediately look like a star.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of remind me of what Diddy did to Jodeci.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? These country kind of bumpkin dudes come to New York. It's like, wait, they sing R&B, but we're going to give them
the look,
the swag, you know what I'm saying? And you always, like, I saw that with Jay Oliver. I saw that with what's his name again? Sam Harvey.
Yeah.
I think maybe you was at the Revolt Music Festival at the
time.
Yeah. Bro, you would have fucking thought that it was for y'all, like cameras everywhere, everything positioned, man. Like, do you immediately see that in the artist? Like, what approach you want to go with them image-wise? How do you come up with the look? Because you seem like you're so great at it.
I mean, I'm a visionary, so everything that I envision comes to life. So once I see a look or once I see a thing that could come out of someone, I want to make that come to life. You know, and I feel like that's what's going to really give them that edge to kind of appeal to the masses. And so so far that's worked for a lot of people, and I've changed a lot of people's lives by doing that.
Gotcha. Now here it is. You bring Jay Oliver in. Jay Oliver is now here in Dallas. Y'all working. What big placements did y'all land any good placements while y'all was working together?
Man, we did a lot, from Trey Songz, French Montana, Meek Mill, Rick Ross. We was working with Diddy. I mean, we worked with pretty much all the big heavy hitters in the industry in just a short period of time. I think the issue with me and Jay Oliver was, he wanted to be an artist and a producer. And I kept trying to sway him to just be a producer and saying, like, that's where we're really making the most money in, to where if we make a big chunk of money as a producer, you could do both. But it was like I was losing money as an artist, but I'm making money as a producer, so it was like I'm not really gaining anything.
God, you staying kind of even.
Yeah.
So do you think Jay Oliver kind of felt like Kanye and Dame Dash? Well, like, hey man, I'm more than a producer.
Definitely. He even made a album called I Am Kanye West.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And I mean, you just go off of what you think happened.
For sure. Now, when you look back at it, do you feel like it's anything that you wish I could have done differently? Do you feel like anything you could have done differently since I had so much momentum?
I mean, I definitely feel like, it was a learning process for both of us, and I feel like, it's just a lot of things that we had to mature on just to be adults and be men. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I met Jay when he was, I think, like 25, 26. He already graduated from college. And, like, he was kind of like at a weird position in his life to where he felt like, things wasn't really going for him. So me working with him for the few years that we had, like, he was already damn near 30, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like, he kind of felt like, well, I'm not where I'm supposed to be at 30. And I'm like, well, you didn't put in the work that you're supposed to put in, you know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of artists that's 30-something, 40-something that still ain't where they supposed to be. And Facts. They're big in the industry, you know what I'm saying? But it's just all about the consistency of what you're doing and how you're elevating yourself and who you're connecting to, And if you're not doing that properly, it's going to take a long time.
Now, what about with Sam? Because, like, Sam definitely had that superstar. Mm-hmm. Like, look, like, no homo, but just a beautiful dude. Like, he looked like some shit that's supposed to be on magazines, billboards.
I mean, Sam Harvey had, like, the next Justin Bieber. Like, he had that, And I feel like, he was definitely a phenomenal artist, definitely very talented. But I feel like time that Sam came was around the time me and Jay Oliver was like falling off, and this is like around the same time I lost my right-hand man that passed away.
I remember that.
So once I lost him, like, it was like a domino effect. Like, I lost him, then me and Jay fell off, and then I'm trying to hold on in the music industry with Sam, and then, like, Jay's kind of like putting negative things into his head about, like, man, you just need to get with this lawyer and all this other stuff and get out of the deal. So it was just a bunch of, like, bullshit.
Now, at the time, did you still have Sam when he landed that, was it Something Charms on Rick Ross?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, like, then you feel like, because, like, man, for Sam, I just knew. I was like, oh, yeah, just like how y'all was looking at Revolt, I said, he was out of here.
Yeah.
He was out of here.
I mean, we had the president of Bad Boys wanting to sign him, and, like, we had a whole bunch of things lined up for him and, just trying to get down. He was working with L.A. Reid, working with him and his son. So, they were going out there to Atlanta working on stuff. So he had a lot of stuff going for him. It's just, I feel like Dallas has this weird virus that's called, like, the hating virus. So once you get around a certain group of people that ain't where they supposed to be, they just hating on anybody else that's doing better than them or doing more than them. So they just keep putting little negative bugs in their ears to where it's like, man, you should do this. You should be working with this person. Why you not doing this? Why he ain't doing this? And it's like, the people that's telling you this, what are they doing? Where they at? You know? But it's like, you cool with them because they cool with you and you think they really helping you, but they really messing your career up.
Looking at it, being like when your man's passed away, how much did you feel like it shifted your focus and your priorities when it came to your art?
Man, it shifted everything. Like, I fell into a depression. It's like when you lose someone that's the closest person to you, the most loyal person to you, like the person that you can trust with any and everything. You know, so when you lose someone like that, it's like nothing else really matters. And I remember at his funeral, one of the things that I asked for was clarity. I was like, just show me what I can't see. Since you're up there and I'm down here, like, just show me the people that need to be in my life and then take away the people that don't need to be in my life. And literally, like, after that moment, like, people were dropping like flies in my life. And it was like damn near me by myself and nobody else was around me no more.
So at this time, you got this building, this infrastructure was crazy, but you leave and go to Atlanta.
Yep. I mean, I was debating on shutting it down, but, like, something told me not to. So just collected dust while I was in Atlanta. So I was in Atlanta for like 4 years. And I was doing films and movies and music production out there. And, like, it kind of gave me the inspiration to revamp this place and get it to where it could be.
Because your man's died 2015?
Yeah.
So you dipped like not too much longer after I came over here.
Yeah.
You was out.
Yeah.
So you go to Atlanta, and this kind of becomes just sabbatical. This is your place where you go, and you now get inspired. You went somewhere to get away, but now you out here getting inspired, man.
Yeah.
Like, what start turning the tide for you to return back home, man?
I mean, like, I wanted to go to Atlanta to kind of find my hunger. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because, like, I feel like I lost my hunger. You know, I made so much money doing whatever I had to do to build businesses and create opportunities to where, like, money was good, but, like, I just wasn't hungry no more, you know, and I just got comfortable. And I felt like I got so comfortable that I lost everything I loved, you know, everything that meant something to me. So it's like me going back to Atlanta was like me going back to the streets, but just really feeling like what the hunger was.
Gotcha.
And I feel like that's what kind of like motivated me to be like, you know what? You can do this. Like, you can go back to Dallas and really change the game and connect some big dots in Dallas and bring people together and like really open the doors for Dallas.
Do you feel like people really over romanticize Atlanta though? Because like when people speak of Atlanta, they speak of it as a big kumbaya place where everybody gets along. I even heard on Boss Talk, he was like, you know, everybody looking out and everybody breaking bread. And it's just this big where...
I mean, it's just a place where you have a lot of people like us that are millionaires.
Right.
So if everybody in the building is a millionaire, how easy it is for us to break bread with each other. It's real easy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, not to say that nobody out there is struggling, but just to say that they can rub shoulders with someone that's a millionaire is a lot easier than us rubbing shoulders with someone that's a millionaire that's close to us.
Right.
You know, like it takes a while for someone in Dallas to rub shoulders with a millionaire. How hard is it for someone in Atlanta to rub shoulders?
Okay.
You know?
So you see that culture there. Because I see a lot of, like everywhere you go, especially if you go within the hip hop community, man, we got to be like Atlanta. You know, from Detroit. I was in Detroit, you know what I'm saying, not too long ago. They was like, man, down in Atlanta, they XYZ. Yeah. XYZ down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I look at it like a couple of things, like you just said. Number one, Atlanta kind of has always been the hot spot for Black entrepreneurship. So they always kind of had millionaires.
Yeah.
Of course, when L.A. Reid and them came to L.A., I mean, I know they had the bass movement and all that stuff in Atlanta. But when L.A. Reid got to Atlanta and Babyface and they popped off LaFace, you start seeing the turnover into the hip hop where that dollar was able to circulate in that market. Dallas, Houston reminds me a lot more of Atlanta. You see a lot of more black entrepreneurship. Dallas is still kind of old South segregated. You want to see black people, you got to go to where black people are.
Yeah.
And it's not an affluent black type of place.
Yeah.
How do you catch up Dallas? Because again, Atlanta got to where they were at because they first had black entrepreneurs and millionaires.
Yeah.
And out of that, they were able to spawn the music scene and reciprocate the dollars in. How do you make that happen here in Dallas?
I mean, I say it's education. You know, it's how you educate. How many black colleges are in Atlanta?
It's got a few, like 2, 3, 4. I know they got a lot of black colleges in Georgia, period.
Yeah. So how many black colleges are in Houston?
Well, 1, 2, 1.
I mean, you got the Prairie, and then you got, you know, kind of like U of H, you know what I'm saying? But also, too, is like, that's just a place that you could be educated to be professional and really expand on the people that you're connecting with. In Dallas, how many black colleges do they have?
None.
None. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we become professional in our own city? The only way we learn to be professional is how to professionally work for someone else. So we learn to work for corporations. That's why corporations, all the major corporations get created in Dallas.
Yeah.
Wingstop, fucking Twin Peaks. I mean, there's a bunch of businesses that got created out here. I think Lay's got created out here. Neiman Marcus got created out here. Like, it's just a place for corporations to be built because there's so many people that want to make someone else rich. They want to make this corporation rich instead of making themselves rich. In Atlanta, you got so many people that want to make themselves rich, and they know who to connect with to help them to do that. So it's like, instead of working for someone, they're working together. Dallas, a lot of people know how to work for someone instead of working together. So you got a a corporate mindset out here compared to an entrepreneur mindset. So Houston has a bigger entrepreneur mindset. Atlanta has a bigger entrepreneur mindset. New York, LA, Miami, New Orleans, all these places thrive off of entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think of corporations, that cities that have mostly corporate businesses, they don't really thrive off of entrepreneurs. They thrive off of corporations. And that's why Dallas is lacking entrepreneurs, because nobody's educating each other to be more of an entrepreneur.
Got you. Now, do you feel like everybody call is to be an entrepreneur, and doesn't it work in a favor? Like, because I mean, you look at Dallas, like you said, it's corporate, but every boss is only good as their employees.
Yeah.
And not everyone is meant to create a new business, but some people are great at taking something that's already creating it and helping advance it.
I just feel like people don't know their full potential. You know, it's like you come across so many people and be like, yo, you could be so much bigger than where you are. But instead you work at McDonald's. Man, you could be so much bigger than where you are. But instead you too busy trying to pay $2,000 rent bill that you can't afford.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying like, why don't we just all crash together, build a creator's house, and really all just thrive off each other and just pay a little bit towards the bills and just focus on what we could do to build a business. And we all put in.
Do you think that's realistic though?
They do it in LA, Atlanta, all the time. It's just here is like people don't do it because, of course, your money goes a little longer than it does in LA.
Right.
You get paid in LA, your money could be gone just paying one bill.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? In Dallas, you get paid, you might be able to buy some clothes, you might be able to go out to the club, pop a bottle, you know what I'm saying? Because your bills ain't as expensive as it is to live in LA.
Yeah.
So in LA, people know how to minimize to maximize their opportunity. Dallas is like there's too many places you can go to. If you get kicked out of your house now, how many other places you can live at?
No, I got a few.
Exactly.
For sure.
But if you get kicked out of your house in LA, how many places you got to live at?
Try to get back in the place I was just in.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
it's going to be very rare to someone be like, yeah, man, come on over. I got an extra room for you.
I think when I assess Dallas, I hear what you're saying. Yes, people need to work together, but I feel like people need to work together in a way that a football team works.
Yeah.
This whole kumbaya that we're going to get on this one mindset, one page, and it's just going to be everybody going to come together and make this goulash, is probably not going to happen. To me, that's unrealistic. However, you may be a quarterback. I might be a punter.
Mm-hmm.
They may be a wide receiver. We're on the same team. Just be great at your position.
Mm-hmm.
Do your job, because if you can run your route and you can throw the ball, we cool. But if everybody trying to play quarterback, it's just not going to work. And I think that's the problem.
And that's the dilemma with Dallas, because it's like we're forced to do that.
Yeah.
Like, since there's not that many creators and not that many professional people in their area, it's like you're forced to do 10 jobs. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to LA and you go to Atlanta, you know someone that specializes at what they do. Be like, hey, you know someone that shoots videos? Oh, I got this person.
Gotcha.
You know someone that does graphics? I got this person. You know someone that produces and engineers? I got this person. So it's like literally a professional for every area. When you come to Dallas, you meet someone and be like, oh, I do all that. And it's
you kind of got to a little bit.
And it's like, how? How do you do all that?
Yeah.
And just be like, I just taught myself how to do all that, so I don't need no one else to do nothing. So I'm saving money. But nah, you really slowing your process down because you're not building.
Gotcha.
It's like we literally got to build the team. We got to have infrastructure. Dallas is missing structure. There's no structure to Dallas. So if there's gatekeepers, who do you check in with? Nobody. If shit goes wrong in Dallas, who you checking in with? Nobody. If you got beef in Dallas, who you checking in with? Nobody. Nobody you need to check in with. But you go to Atlanta, you go to Houston, who you checking in with? There's a whole list of people.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's damn near to the point where if you don't check in, you got a problem.
So do you feel like the lack of that, I don't want to use this word, but for the lack of better words, since we don't have kind of that shadow figure or that mob boss entity here, is that the reason why a lot of artists get to come through Dallas and clean up money and keep it moving?
Of course. It's like, Anybody could come through Dallas and do whatever the fuck they want to.
Mm.
Anybody could come through Dallas and get rich and give everybody pennies and give everybody bones and scraps, and everybody's gonna be okay with that. There's a whole lot of groupies in Dallas. Groupie men, groupie women, and all they want to do is get a picture. Like, that's all you literally live for, is a fucking picture. You don't live to really do any business with this person, create any business. You don't even have nothing to offer this person when you meet them and get their number and take a picture. You just want to take a picture.
That's deep.
To me, that's groupie shit. And it's like, what's the picture gonna do? Make you look cool on Instagram? Just so you could get a couple more, and then when the person dies, that's when you really show off the picture. That's when you really start posting all the pictures and be like, yo, I was with him first, man.
That's
man,
my
he
bro.
was telling me, that was bro right there, man. We had big plans.
No, that's real. Oh, that's real shit.
That's why I sure hate if I died.
All right, man, everybody turned up.
But everybody posting pictures.
Man.
Funeral gonna be long line. Everybody gonna be like, man, me and Radio, we had so much planned, man. Man, we was gonna take over the world together.
I was about to sign to him the day before he died. No, so like with the hub and the things.
Let's knock on wood. You know?
Hey, man.
Let's not put that in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Dallas niggas is crazy.
When that Never Satisfied, you teamed up with Bebe, what's her name, Lady C?
Yep.
Lady C, Real Life,
Yep.
and y'all came together because I know that at first they was doing the hub kind of in studios, and that wasn't really conducive.
Yeah.
And then they found the Holy Grail, the you know what I'm saying, Never Satisfied, and this space was just so perfect for that, man. Like, how did that come together, man? And as this evolved, how do you see this helping the city?
Because, you know, Never Satisfied, we've been here for 12 years, but like, I would say like a good 10 of that, it was private. You know, I didn't really let nobody in here.
Facts.
So that's why nobody knew about this place. That's why I never advertised. I never promoted it. You never seen a flyer nowhere about Never Satisfied. Like, you literally just saw Jay Oliver and our parties and our events.
Yeah.
You know, but people didn't know that we had this gym just sitting here. But then, like, when I came back from Atlanta, I was like, you know what? It's time to tie in. It's time to bridge the gaps. It's time to bring people in. So, you know, I would go to the hub with Bebe and see him at all these different places. And then, like, something would happen and it didn't work out at this spot. And then it would go to another spot. And then something was going on over here. And I'd just be kind of like the little bug in Bebe here. I'd be like, you know, that wouldn't happen if you was at my studio. You know, we wouldn't have these issues if you was at my studio. And then finally, Bebe just pulled up and he was like, you know what? You right. We about to shift all this. We're bringing everything here.
Dope.
And we did, you know, and it was dope. And I mean, like, a lot of big events has happened. You know, young Dolph was here before he passed, you know, rest in peace. And I feel like that was a big monumental moment, you know what I'm saying? Because I definitely look up to young Dolph. You know, I look up to P. Diddy, I look up to Birdman, I look up to all the big execs that really like did it independently and got it out the mud and really turned their lives into something bigger than what it was.
Like, if for those who don't understand what the hub is, like, what is it that really does?
I mean, the hub to me is like a place to where you get to display your music in front of a large network of people. You know, and in that network of people, you got a lot of the movers and shakers, from the DJs to the influencers in Dallas, and like everybody kind of gets to come and just congregate together about your music, you know what I'm saying, about what you're doing, you know, and I feel like I've never seen nothing like that in Dallas, you know. So for me to be a part of that, like, I love everything about it. You know, I love what Bebe's doing. I love what Lady C's doing. Real Life, they've been doing their thing for a long time. And just for me to be able to be a part of that and work with them, like, you know, I feel honored.
Do you feel like, speaking of Bebe, you know, I love the fact that this resurgence with this whole Bebe, that mix and everybody doing this dance. And I love to see his name, you know, kind of always circulate and come back up.
For sure.
But people sometimes be highly critical of Bebe and his contribution to the city.
Yeah.
I guess if you listen to the artists, nobody ever contributes enough. But a lot of people feel like Bebe don't really try to help artist. Like he never saw him really just take an artist and mature them and grow them and break them.
Yeah.
That what he does is he attaches himself to something that's already popular and buzzing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's not Bebe's job. Like, Bebe is not to be a record exec. You know, he's not to be an A&R. You know, his job is to really vibe with what he wants to vibe with.
Facts.
And for him to be doing what he's doing for Dallas and still be doing what he needs to do for Shreveport, like, I commend him for that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, Shreveport, he's the king out there. He's the mayor out there, you know what I'm saying? And the love that he gets out there, I mean, he could really just stay out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, he brings the love to Dallas and brings a lot of the attention to Dallas, too. So I see him, you know, dividing himself very well amongst two cities and really putting on for both cities. So I don't ever see too many people doing that.
Working with Bebe, have you learned anything?
I learned a lot. You know, crazy, like me and Bebe, we got the same birthday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
What's your birthday? Hopefully I got the same day too.
It's January 23rd.
Oh, no, I'm way all the way off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
Definitely Aquarius season, you know, 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? That's our numbers, 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
But yeah, man, like we just like-minded individuals. We both want to see the greater good for everybody. And, you know, we definitely get hated on by the majority, you know what I'm saying? But that don't stop us, that don't slow us down. That kind of just fuels us to just keep going harder and going farther, you know? And Bebe always says, like, the hub is like community service for him, you know what I'm saying? Because he really don't be doing it for the money, you know? He just really be doing it to bring people together and let people, like, do some dope shit together. Like,
That's
I mean,
dope.
it's free. You could literally charge people to come in, charge people to buy food, charge people to get drinks, you know what I'm saying? But he's giving all this for free. I don't see nobody else doing that. How many events you came to and you didn't have to pay for food and you didn't have to pay for drinks and you didn't have to pay for to get in and still go see your favorite artist right here in front of you where you could touch them?
Yeah.
I don't know none.
That's real. Now, I know you're working with artists now. But again, you got who kind of go over the artists you're working with right now.
Officially that's signed to me is Lardy.
Okay.
She's a female artist out of Dallas. Definitely love her movement, love everything that she's doing. She's humble, she's sweet. She's just a great all-around person that's just phenomenally talented.
Yeah.
You know, so when I saw her and we just connected and we vibe, I just knew like this would be the reason why I get back in the music industry. Because after the J. Oliver shit and Sam Harvey shit, I'm like, yo, fuck the music industry. I'm about to go straight film. I'm doing Tiger King. I'm doing whatever. I'm doing whatever movies people want me to do. Like, I'm not dealing with no artist ever again. But she kind of like was like this sweetheart that just was like perfect timing to where it was like, you know what? If it was for anybody I get back in here for, it might be you, because she did a whole festival by herself, paid each artist to be on the festival.
Damn, that's hustling.
Had a unicorn there, a real horse with a unicorn. Everybody was taking pictures, had all these big props on stage, rented out the whole Southside ballroom. I was like, I ain't never seen nobody do this.
That's hard.
Independently.
I seen White 100, listened to him on Clubhouse one day. And he was talking about why he don't sign female artists.
Yeah.
He said, whoever giving her pain is the king of her life. Meaning that if she working, let's say you meet a female artist, she's single, she ready to work, then she start dating. You used to could get her to come to the studio and work with 2 Chainz at 11 o'clock at night, but now her nigga like, nah, you can't go.
Yeah.
Or it's a big fight, and by the time she get there, mentally she's out of it. Or her nigga's talking in her ear, your contract bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that with a female artist? Because usually they dudes become their king.
Yeah. I mean, I always say like women are like sponges and men are like rocks. You know, women gonna sponge whatever's around them. So if they're around a bad dude, they're gonna become a bad female. You know what I'm saying? Like something, they're gonna create bad habits from it. But if a woman's around a good dude, they become a good female. You know what I'm saying? They create good habits.
That's real.
So it's like, it really just all depends on her crowd and her people that she's involved with. You know what I'm saying? So if she's attracted to something bad or something rough, then yeah, it's gonna go sour, you know? But if she's attracted to something good and something positive, then, you know, you gotta learn how to work with both of them. You know, you gotta learn to become, you know, to deal with both of them.
Gotcha. Something real off topic, but with that though, I just thought about it like every chick that probably got on crack or cocaine or some type of drug probably got on it because of a dude, not because it's just her own shit to get on.
Yeah.
And it's real.
Real spill. That's why they said they like sponges and rocks. And men, we're like rocks. You know, you can throw all of us together and we still be different.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna clash. Just be like, yo, I ain't fucking with dude.
Yeah.
He on some other shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. So you got Lardy B. Who else are you working with right now?
I signed her producer, Dialogue,
Okay.
Brandon. He's a phenomenal producer. He definitely worked with a lot of like big artists, and you know, it was kind of like me meeting Jay Oliver, you know what I'm saying, for the first time. I'm like, damn, you this talented, man, you could do all this, you got this. And he's just focused on being a producer, and he don't want to be an artist. So I'm like, yo, this is the perfect situation. Like, we could really make this work, you know what I'm saying? So I signed both of them at the same time, and we've been rocking ever since.
Any artists on your radar, man, right now that you're thinking about tapping in with?
I ain't gonna lie, man, it's quite a few, you know what I'm saying? Like, since I got this Gatekeeper nomination, you know what I'm saying? You know, a bunch of people have been reaching out, you know what I'm saying? So it's been a lot of people, and I don't even know if they're reaching out because the Gatekeeper, but they definitely reaching out right now.
You on the radar, man. I mean, you got some amazing, bro. You, like you said, you give infrastructure, you give guidance, you have everything in-house. And you have a knack that most people don't have, and that's really making an artist look like a star and buying into it, bro.
For sure.
You do an amazing job at that.
And, you know, my goal is really to be that first label out of Dallas that signs nothing but big major artists, you know what I'm saying? And we create superstars right here in this building. And I feel like I'm very calculated on every move I make. That's why, you know, you don't see me signing 20 artists just because I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm only gonna sign like a handful of people because I don't wanna take on more than what I can handle. And I'm always real weary about the people that do sign a bunch of people, because then the backlash of having all these people that ain't getting the attention that they need is gonna be bad. So it ain't gonna be good for the label, it ain't gonna be good for the artist. So it's like when you work with someone that doesn't wanna be an artist but just wants to focus on building an artist and doesn't have a gang of artists with them, like that's the perfect situation. When you see someone that has a ton of artists and don't really give the attention, it's gonna be chaos and there's gonna be a bunch of issues.
I wanna end with this. All that you've been going through, that you overcame, you even find yourself, even with all the money, you lost your main mans. And even with all the money, you weren't happy because of that.
Yeah.
When you look over everything that you accomplished and what you want to do, what is the purpose of life for you?
Man.
What are we here for?
Honestly, that's a good ass question. Cause the main thing that I've learned through everything that I've been through is balance. You know, like money doesn't give you balance. Money doesn't give you peace. You know, people don't give you balance. People don't give you peace. You know what I'm saying? Balance is something that you got to find within yourself. And you got to really understand like what balance is, to where you got to have the good and you got to have the bad, but you got to keep it balanced, you know? And if it's going too far on one side, then you need to like figure out a way to shift it back down. You know, if things are going too good and things are just going too far for you, then you gotta like figure out how to offset that. You know what I'm saying? And now it's time to bring something else in that might be negative, but you might have to be there for it. Even though you're trying to stay away from the negativity, but that negativity is what's gonna give you balance. You know, same thing. If something's too far negative for you and you don't have nothing positive in your life, you got to have something that offsets that and brings positivity in your life, because there's always a balance. And balance is what creates a peace of mind. Peace of mind is something that you can't buy.
It's real. I asked you that because I also came across the same thing, balance, negative and positive. People be like, I'm blocking out only the negative and focusing on the positive. But when you focusing on blocking out all the negative, guess what you're focusing on? The negative, because you're trying to block it all out.
Exactly.
And it came to me one day, I was like, energy is created by a negative and a positive charge. You give all positive charge, no energy. You give all negative charge, no energy. You said balance. You need, embrace that negative, find the positive in it, and that creates motion, man.
Exactly.
Hey,
That's the only way we can live.
For sure, man. Well, I tell you, Ro, man, you got a hell of a journey.
Hey, appreciate that, man. And we got a lot more to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's
sir.
only the beginning.
Hey, man, this is going to be part of your Kanye documentary.
Hey, I'm with that. I'm with that.
Well, Radio Raheem, man, until we meet again, man.
For sure, man. Hey, shout out to what you're doing, man. I love everything that you got going on, man. I feel like moguls are really big in the game, you know what I'm saying? And there's so many untapped moguls out there that really needs to be getting that light, and you're doing it for them, so I appreciate you.
Hey, man, for sure, man. I appreciate that.
For sure.
Till we meet again.
My guy.